Hello everyone, my name is Amber and welcome back to Phasmophobia. Today we're going to have a look at the Mimic. The Mimic can be quite a fun ghost, as its special ability is to just copy all the other ghost's abilities. It will randomly select a ghost type to mimic for a short while, and then it will change periodically throughout the investigation. This can make it easy to be misled, as you will think you have a revenant because you heard slow footstep noises while hiding during a hunt, or you'll see the six-fingered handprint and assume you have an obake. However, then it will change ghost types and you'll suddenly get early hunted because the Mimic turns into a demon. This makes the Mimic extremely dangerous, as you'll never know what sanity they'll be able to hunt at any given time. The easiest way to tell you are dealing with a Mimic is to get 4 pieces of evidence instead of 3, or 3 instead of 2 if you're playing on Nightmare mode. The Mimic's real evidence is Spirit Box, Fingerprints, and Freezing Temps. However, the Mimic will also always give a fake evidence type, Ghost Orbs. No matter what type of ghost the Mimic is copying, the orbs will always be visible. So, this means you need to be careful when collecting evidence. If you get ghost orbs and mark it in your journal, the Mimic will no longer be listed as an option. However, you need to remember that this does not rule out the Mimic, as the orbs could potentially be fake evidence. So, until you get a piece of evidence that absolutely rules out the Mimic, you will need to remember that it could still be an option. Be especially careful of getting fingerprints, freezing temps, and ghost orbs. This is the evidence for the Hantu, but this combination does not rule out the Mimic at all. If you get this combination, be sure to test for Spirit Box as well. If you are absolutely sure that the ghost was nearby when you used the Spirit Box and you got no response multiple times, then you can most likely rule out the Mimic. If you are playing on Nightmare mode and you end up getting all 3 of these evidences, this means you for sure have the Mimic, as all other ghost types can only give 2 evidences for this difficulty level. If you are doing a no evidence run, you can distinguish the Mimic just by paying attention to the ghost's behavior, both during and outside of hunts. If you notice that it does special abilities of multiple types of ghosts, you can know it is the Mimic. For example, let's say you get the obake's 6-fingered handprint, but then a few minutes later, you get early hunted and hear the fast footsteps of a Raiju. This is a clear indicator of the Mimic. This method can be difficult to rely on, as the Mimic will not always do a ghost special ability, and a lot of the time you must get hunted to see the special abilities. On the other hand, if you get one ghost type special ability multiple times throughout a mission, then you can also most likely rule out the Mimic, as it is unlikely for it to stay the same ghost type long enough to do the same ability twice, but it is not completely impossible. The best rule of thumb for Mimics is to assume you have a Mimic until you can rule it out entirely. When you have a ghost that does its special ability, always say to yourself, it's either this ghost or the Mimic, and then take the necessary steps to make sure it is not a Mimic. Prepare for it to hunt basically at any time, as it can early hunt if it copies one of the other ghosts that can do so. The trouble is that you will never know which ghost type it will decide to mimic and when. So I hope you found this guide useful, and if you did, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe for future content, and feel free to check out my channel for more Phasmophobia guide videos. Happy hunting out there!